Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream lesson with me, Stu Fuchs and Ukulele Zen. I'm so glad you decided to join me for this lesson. We have today a great lesson planned. We're going to be learning La Bamba. We're going to learn the uke riff in 2 positions. This is the classic riff we all know and love. And we're going to learn it up here as well. We're also going to be covering a syncopated strum, jamming the entire song. And I will be, in addition, zooming in close to my hands as I take you through this wonderful syncopated strum, 2 versions of the riff, and practice tips as well. So this is going to be a very nutritious lesson. So glad you decided to join me. We will be taking it slow. I will be, most importantly, leading you through some guided practice that will really help you learn things in a way that's relaxed and effective. If you stick around for this entire lesson, promise you're going to get a lot of benefits from our time together. I'm really excited to get started with you. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me a-okay. And we're going to jump right into things. I want to say hello to a few people in the room live. If you're watching this as a replay or live, let me know in the chat where you're watching from. We got folks from all over the US, from the East Coast and all the way to San Diego. So glad that you're here. Hey, John, thank you so much. Glad you're here from Long Island. Alberta is in the house. We've got a lot of folks from Canada here. Chicago is in the house. How you doing, Mary? Glad you're here. Suzanne, thank you. So glad that you decided to join me for this session. Now, before we jump into this nutritious and action-packed lesson, I want to share some good news with you. Guess what happened a few days ago? This channel, Ukulele Zen, reached 100,000 subscribers. I'm so very grateful to you all for watching my videos, and it is a deep honor and a joy to know that my lessons are helping you to progress along your music path. Really is a joy to pass along the helpful teachings from my different teachers of music, yoga, and mindfulness meditation. So glad that you're here. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can keep in the loop of everything that goes on at this channel. Since we met last, the Ukulele Zen retreat took place at the Omega Institute. It was a fantastic time. Now, if you want to get the printable song sheet, there's a link down below. It's totally free. It's a public post at my Patreon community page. And if you decide to join as a member, I think you'll enjoy it this month because we're going to be using this riff and the C major scale as a springboard for different improvisational activities, some different improv ideas, and we'll touch upon those just a wee bit, but to go deeper into it, it'll be part of the monthly bonus lessons that are available at my Patreon community page. If you'd like to join, there are links down below. Many thanks to everyone who supports month after month on Patreon. I'm so grateful to you all. So glad that you're here. Come on, let's dive into this lesson together. Let's begin by first just making friends with the chords and the syncopated strum, okay? There are only 3 chords in this song, and they're not hard to play. C major is our first chord. This lesson will work great on a high G or low G ukulele. If you play baritone, I hope you'll be able to just to make the necessary translation to the chord shapes for baritone. Next chord, F, and then G7, and then back to F. Now, 2 things to get into right now. A really cool skill to have is to have a pivot finger. You may like to take a pen and write this down. Pivot finger. Take a look. I go from C, 2 beats, F, 2 beats, G7. Look how that index finger stays down, and everything pivots on that index finger. This is not the hip strum yet, but let's just take 30 seconds to practice the pivot finger. Join in with me, simply strumming 2 beats each chord. Feel the pivot. Ready and go. C, F, pivot on that index finger, G7. Welcome from Astoria, Oregon. Let's keep going. Tony Smith, glad you're here. From England, all the way across the pond. Thank you so much for all the kindness. Appreciate you being here. We're gonna do this one more time. Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Cool. Now, you can play a G7 chord there or a G chord. I decided to notate it with G7 to make the change easy and to teach you about the guide finger. Now, please take a listen to this for one moment while I strum. Para bala la bamba, para bala la bamba, se necesito una copa de gracia. Now this is a slightly more advanced, you could call it advanced beginner or intermediate rhythm, but friends, it's not hard if we slow it down. The tricky part is going to be the syncopation of the G7 chord arriving on an upbeat and the F major chord arriving on an upbeat here. I've simplified the notation to try to show you this in a clear way. We're going to practice this very slowly, then we're going to pick up the speed. So please get your hand on the ukulele. Gavin, you can interchange them as you like, G or G7. Thanks for joining me, Gavin. All the best to you and Sean and your family. Let's count this out. 1 and 2 and here we go. We strum 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now please don't click away if you didn't grab that the first time through. We're going to practice it together. Now, very slowly, your mission is to count the eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and keep that eighth note count going across the page and change the chords with the arrows, okay? Most of the chord changes are on downstrokes. Well, half of them are. Half of them are on upstrokes. Let's do it together. If you can say it, you can play it. So come on, let's say it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and one more time. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. Awesome. If you got any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'm here to serve you with these monthly free live stream lessons. So please ask your questions. Let's break this first change down. We're going to stop when we get to this G7 chord, okay? 1 and 2 and here we go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and that's it. Do it again. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and we'll do it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and cool. Did you feel how that pivot finger is really your friend? You pivot to the G7 while your index finger, your strumming hand, comes up. Now after that, we don't strum on beat 1, we strum and 2 and. Right? The and of 2, we move back to F. I have filled in every eighth note with a strum, but if you like, you can leave that strum out of beat 3 if you like. Okay? Let's try playing the entire thing. Remember, if you can say it, you can play it. So while you're sitting here watching this, I encourage you to really use your voice loud enough to reach your ears. Look at your hands, look at this diagram. It's all available at the PDF that's at the link down below. 1 and 2 and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and try to feel it. Give those upbeats a little more oomph. Very loose wrist as you strum. Feeling so far? Are you going to stick around? I hope so, because we're going to be getting into so much more in this lesson. Trey Romano, so glad you're here. Trey was with me at the Ukulele Zen retreat. Thank you for joining me. Other folks were as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is the strum right down here, okay? Now, you can strum this in a way that's not syncopated. If it's more comfortable for you, you could just go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Changing the chords on the downbeat, totally fine to do that. By playing it with a syncopated feel, you get a much hipper rhythm. There is a link in the description down below, not only for this PDF, but also a video of me playing. It was my birthday some years ago. I was on a beach in Mexico, and a fantastic Mexican guitarist was there. I had my little travel uke with me, and it's a wonderful jam. We sat there, we stood there, we jammed for a long time. There's a video down below of us jamming La Bamba on the beach. It's kind of funny because there's this very drunk guy from Venezuela who he kind of you got to see it. He sings along. He was in a very jolly state of mind. He wasn't being mean or anything. That guy was toasted. But so this is what we're going to do now. Let's just play through a bit of the song, and then we're going to dip into those riffs, okay? Got any questions? Drop them in the chat. So glad you're here. Okay, so let's just strum through this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and la bamba. Para bailar la bamba se necesita una copa de gracia, una poca de gracia pa mi pati, y ahí va arriba, ay arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Hold on a sec. Excellent. We're going to keep going. You may be already wondering, hey man, it says G7 down here, but it says G for the rest of it. Why? As I mentioned before, the G7 chord makes that change a little easier. It's also a bit more of a colorful chord. If you prefer the sound of G, I like them both. So choose your own 5 chord. Choose your own G chord. All right? Let's keep on going from Yo no soy marinero. 1, 2, 3. Yo no soy marinero. Yo no soy marinero. Soy capitán. Soy capitán. Soy capitán. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. Para bailar la bamba, sing along. Para bailar la bamba se necesito copa de gracia, una coca de gracia por mi pati, arriba, arriba. And here's where the solo would take place. stuff we'll share in the strumming. Ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba. Ba-da-ba-la-la-bamba. Se necesita una poca de gracia. Una poca de gracia por mi partida. Arriba y arriba. Ay, arriba y arriba. Por ti seré. Por ti seré, por ti seré. Let's take it out, we'll learn more. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. Yeah. So we're going to get into so much more in this lesson. How are you feeling so far? That was, of course, a slowed down practice of the strum, the syncopated strum. I really want you to understand this, so we're just going to touch upon this one more time. Remember, you can always watch this lesson anytime as a replay. If you're enjoying yourself so far, will you do me a huge favor? Give this video a thumbs up. Click that like button. It does help YouTube to spread my content around. Really appreciate you reaching out. Let me know you appreciate this lesson with a click of that like button. Now, you can of course play this faster, but let's get that syncopation down. Then we're going to jump into the riffs, a little bit about improvisation, and we'll have more and more fun as we go. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, friends. So glad you're here. If you're really digging this, share it with some ukulele-loving friends on social media. All right, now this strum is at first tricky. These are practices. These are not perfections. They take some time. So it takes time to get used to the chords coming in on the up strums. So let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, play. 1, 2. 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Yeah, we'll do that 4 times in a row. And remember, you can leave that down strum out of beat 3. That might have been a good thing to do, not even to put an arrow there, but I decided to make it nice and clear for everybody. So let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2 and this starts to take on the quality of Cuban music. Keep strumming. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. One more. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nice. Once it clicks, you can just do this all day long. Now, what I was doing there, we're not going to get into this because it's a whole nother topic, but it's the son montuno. Son montuno is the the ostinatos that are created, the repeating patterns created by bass and piano and Cuban music and so many other Afro-Latin styles. There are thousands of them, thousands of different patterns, and they have a lot to do with syncopation. So you have right here a really powerful entry point into a whole world of hip Latin rhythm. So all you got to do is just sit with this a little bit each day, and it won't be long before those up strums are very natural. All right. Now, Andre's got a question. What can I do exactly on the high G string? I will touch upon that in just a little while. Hugh, glad you're here from Costa Rica. Love it down there. Can't wait to get back. So I want to get into the riffs and start to show you some stuff, and then Andre will address your question about the G string, high G string, because there's actually a lot of amazing solo things you can do with the G string. But before we do, two fancy things you can put into this strum. If you're already feeling comfortable with this, check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I'm adding a little backbeat? 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 2s and the 4s, I'm just tapping with my thumb. Little tap. It's like I'm hitchhiking, and I'm just lightly tapping the strings. You could also get the same effect by a little chuck. Going to find that because the taps or the chucks happen on beats 2 and 4, well, check it out. That syncopation, that up strum, happens right after that chuck. And right here, it happens right after you chuck or tap on beat 2. One more time, a little guided practice for y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Join in. Get things smooth at a slow speed, and then the speed will come. I'm tapping very lightly on my string. Excuse me. Bamba. You can play any song like this. Once was a shopping cart, now it's all covered with daisies. You got it, you got it. Right? There was a Talking Heads song from the 80s that used a very cool rhythm like this. All right, cool strum trick number 2. You know, a couple of months back, I made a whole bunch of tutorials about the triplet. And we use the who, won't get fooled again. If you want to see that video, go check out at the channel page. You can find it there. Click on the videos tab. It was a pretty recent series of videos about the triplet. Now you can put that quick down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up at the very end of the pattern. All right, so just a little bit of strum sauce on top of this. Okay, and what I'm going is down, up, down, up. And it makes beat 1 into an up strum. I don't mean to confuse you. Please don't overthink this. It's really a feel thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's just a little thing that I like to do. Here it comes. comes down to those syncopated strums. Are you still happy you showed up? I hope so. Get ready, because we're going to add some more nutrition and get into these two riffs. Keep in mind that if you want to learn more about soloing, it's not hard to do. I will show in 2 different bonus lessons this month at the Patreon community. We're going to use this very same vocabulary, and we're going to go through a whole bunch of really accessible patterns that you can use, some easy concepts to demystify soloing and improvisation. Okay, so hope you'll join me for those bonus lessons. If you join as a member at the Ukulele Zen community page, there are links down below. You'll find that there's all kinds of cool perks, including the bonus lessons that I just mentioned, and there's an easy to find index there, so you can find all the lessons you're looking for. But enough of that, let's get into today's riffs. Now this riff uses a low G string. If you're playing a high G string, don't sweat the tuning, all right? Because the next one is going to be avoiding the high G string, okay? You can still sound great playing this one on a high G. Let's just play through this. It sounds like this. Ba-da-ba-la-la-bum, and then you'd be in the song. And you can also just loop it. So it would sound like this. I'll take you through it. All right, so you can see that it continues to loop around. Essentially, what's happening is we're just playing these 2 measures. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And then you go back to here. For the loop, for the 2-bar loop. Okay, right after that, I went back to here. If you're just going to play this as an introduction, you just play it as written. This is a really cool way to spice up any performance of La Bamba in your strum groups. How do you play it? Well, 1 note at a time. Let's join in. Open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, open. That's a classic walk up. Sounds like the theme from the Munsters or the Addams Family. All right, you can pick with 2 fingers or your thumb or even a pick, which I had one. I think my son took it. Anyway, there was a pick here. I'm going to use my thumb. 1, 2, 3. Let's just master that first section up to that note. 1, 2, 3. Now, when you first play this, I'm walking up, open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and my ring finger's here. Once I get to the open string, I return to the open position. And that means that my 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret, 1st finger's on the 1st fret, and it kind of makes the whole thing just fit underneath your hands nicely. So there's a little bit of a shift here. It's very easy once you get used to it. Now, I know you're here to learn. I appreciate you slowing down, being willing to take things 1 step at a time. So let's just get this together 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. That's 1 rep. Take your hand off. Let's do the 2nd rep. 1, 2, 3. By now, it's starting to get comfortable, yeah? Remember all the tips I've shared in previous videos of keeping the thumb relaxed on the back of the neck, hands soft. Okay? One last time. 1, 2, 3. Great. Now, we go back to that open string. Open. And here, there's a question. Do you use your pinky? You could. Open, 4, 2, 1, 1, 0, 2, open. So that is a G7 arpeggio. And then it walks down the scale. Okay, and the rest of it ends with a strong accent right there. Okay, let's try this section. Open, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 1st fret, open, 2, open. When you're going this slow, sometimes we can lose sight of what it actually sounds like. So it's good to go super slow, but we also want to keep the melody in mind. So let's sing it as we play. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Notice how I didn't use the pinky. I used the 3rd finger. And then I just hop back. All right. So, how about we try the entire thing? Now we're going to do a progressive practice. Progressive practice meaning we're going to start slowly like we just did, and we're going to turn up the speed a little bit each time. So glad you're here, Palm Tree Me. So glad you're here. 1, 2, 3. Now that's one rep, and right now this is the time of the work, like if we were in a live workshop where everybody's giggling because most of us didn't get it, some of us got it. It's cool. This is a process. So as you practice, it's an opportunity to have an experience of relaxing, of being unattached to the results, and if needed, we can go into great detail, really examining each passage, but just try to go with a flow. Try to get into a flowing feeling of your hands. The sound is smooth. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Cool. So rewind that section of the video for a friendly guided tutorial. Now we're going to still stay friendly, but we're going to go a little faster. You ready? It'll sound like this. Bum 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 bum. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, da, 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 da. How you feeling? Keep your hands on your instrument though for now. Let me know in the chat in a moment, but keep your hands on the instrument. Let's do it same tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. One more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yes, 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 yes. And then you'd be in the tune. Pretty darn cool. Now for you hotshot pickers out there, and I know you're out there, we're going to go 3rd time, a little faster now. keep up as best you can. And if you flub some notes, that's not a bad thing, because you'll have an experience of how you'll ask yourself, like, well, how loose would my hand have to be to go this fast? As we go faster, we try less. That's why I'm a huge fan of installing the information, like downloading, if you will, the riff into your muscle memory, into your hand, a very slow, relaxed pace. So then when we pick up the speed, we don't really try anymore. It's just what we've trained being executed faster and faster. So if you flub some notes, that's cool. This will be a lesson for you in how loose would your hand have to be to play this. Okay? A little faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right, let's do it again. This time I'll leave out the staccato effect. Try to let all the notes ring. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bamba. Sounded good. All right, last time. 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. All right, come on, friends. Let's get into the second riff. You can rewind this anytime. So glad you decided to join. Please download this free PDF of all this at the link down below and join as a member of the Patreon community to get the bonus lessons each and every month. Now, this is the same exact notes played 1 octave higher. And you're going to be asked to do some new things with your hands, like using your pinky. I know everyone is differently abled. Some folks may have some arthritis. For whatever reason, it's difficult for you to play. Please change the fingerings to make this more easy for you. I'm going to be sharing the fingerings that I find to be ergonomically good, but always change things to meet your needs. It begins up here. 7th fret index finger. 9th fret 3rd finger. 7th fret index finger. And then the 8th fret. So there's that walk up. Let's just make friends with that. So there's home base right there. 8th fret, that's the same pitch as C. And not for nothing, folks, if you really get this one bit of vocabulary into your hands, start to play around with it. Play it the other direction. Make rhythms. And this is a gateway into improvisation, taking just 3 or 4 notes and playing them in different ways. We'll get into that in the bonus content. Here's the... Okay, you comfortable with that? Nice. Next, we move from 8. Okay, so there is 2nd, index, pinky. Nice 1 finger per fret fingering. You'll see that in a lot of different fingerings, but if you're more comfortable, you can use the ring finger instead. Just stretch it out. And keep it very loose. So after we play those notes, we move to the 8th fret, and now we leap up to the 10th fret, 12th and 10. Once again, this is all great vocabulary for you to make your own stuff with. But at first, we're just playing it as written. You can, of course, make it more tasty by sliding and little hammer-ons. But that's for later on. First, just play it simply with a nice, sweet, connected tone. Okay, everything will follow once you have that sweet, connected, clear tone. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate you saying that. Oh yeah, this is very similar to Twist and Shout. Little different with the syncopation, but same exact thing, essentially. Yvette, so glad you're here. I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate your support on Patreon very much. Okay, now, if that wasn't enough, wait, there's more. We're going to hop down to the 7th fret and make a mini bar. Not mini bar like filled with, booze. I'm talking just a couple of strings. Now this is another pattern that if you can hang with the pinky there, this is a very, very useful pattern. Because in this position, it's essentially outlining a G7 chord. This is what a D7 chord looks like. If we move it up the neck to the 7th fret, we have a G7 chord. And then we move down. But if the pinky's not friendly, for whatever reason it doesn't feel good, you can use the ring finger and play it that way. Okay, choose your own fingering. Okay, and we're breaking it down slow because I want you to learn this. I really want you to get this under your fingers. It won't be long before you do. When we go slow, we tend to get to our goals quicker when we're willing to slow down. All right, this is admittedly a harder riff, but can we do a little bit of guided practice? Let me know in the chat if you're ready. You're probably sitting with this right now, kind of practicing it a little bit. And you see how I can hold that bar, but then let it go right there. So this is the first step of learning a complicated riff, is just to have time be malleable, right? Like rubato. We can slow down just to get the fingerings, get that clear tone with a light, loose, happy hand. Very nice. If you're enjoying this, please give this video a thumbs up. We're about to practice it in a progressive way. 1, 2. Let's keep the beat this time. 1, 2, 3. La bamba. Okay. Yeah, of course it's slower because we're learning it, right? This can sound like beautiful classical music if we change the... It's the same kind of vocabulary as Haydn and Mozart and Beethoven. It's just that we're playing a specific riff. Okay, let's practice this again. 1, 2, 3. All right, and now a little faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. as you're practicing, if you feel tension, just interrupt the grip, okay? And go back to an exercise I shared in last month's video of thud, buzz, and then the clean note. All right? Patience will pay off, and if you're willing to practice this like you're shooting darts, just bullseyes. Just try to shoot one bullseye, take your hand off, do another one. You will get there. I promise that you will get there. You can play it like this if you prefer, Andre. You can pick like that. All right, so we've gone through the riff in 2 positions, and now I'd like to jam a little bit and take some questions in whatever, about whatever that you might have question about. Please drop them in the chat. Helps me to see your questions if you put some question marks before and after your question so I can really see what's going on. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's jam this. I just want to say thanks so much for watching my videos. I'm really overjoyed to share what has helped me to have a relaxing music practice. And you'll find that when we sit and practice in this way, it spills out into other areas of our life. We can take things slowly, just working things out in a way that's relaxed. So thanks so much, and thank you very much for being a member of this community. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you stay in the loop of the other videos that I put up. And there's a whole lot of stuff waiting for you at my channel page. Many thanks to everybody who supports this channel as members of the Patreon community. There are links down below if you want to check out what you'll get with your membership. Thank you so much. Now, no questions yet, so let's just jam, okay? We're going to play, and let me try to set this up so it'll make sense. I'll go to the lower position riff, and I haven't forgotten about your question, Andre, about high G and soloing. We'll get into it, okay? So let's play this, and then we're going to jam the tune. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia por mi parte, arriba y arriba, ay arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Yo no soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Come on now. Bamba, 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 bamba. Come on now. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, necesito coca de gracia, una coca de gracia por mi partida, y arriba y arriba. Now, friends, we're going to do a little bit of soloing. I'd like you to feel comfortable as you hold down this groove. Remember, it's all about those syncopated. Down, 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 up, up, up. Feel that strum. Up, up, down, 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 up, up. Really helpful to say it out loud when you try it. So try it with me. Down, down, up. Syncopation. Keep it going. Andre, you can do so much with the high G, and I'll show you in a moment. Let's just jam a little more. Bamba, se necesito una coca de gracia, una poca de gracia por mi parte, arriba y arriba, ay, arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Play it out with me. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, 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 bamba. Dun, 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 dun. And if you want, you could end with the riff. All right, everybody. Thanks very much. So, let me know in the chat how you doing. We got a few more minutes, and I want to share a few more things with you. Soloing is something that we're going to be getting into in the bonus content this month, and we cover this in the bonus content on Patreon quite a bit because I really love playing single note lines, and I was a lead guitarist for many years in many different bands. But taking a solo isn't just about, playing a million notes. In fact, it's not about that at all. It's about making melodic statements that can be heard easily. So we'll be covering a lot of different vocabulary, but a great concept to work with when you're starting to solo, and I was trying to demonstrate it to you, is that when I begin to play, I play something so clear that I could hear it back. Bum, 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 bum. And when we pay attention to the rhythm, da, 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 try to play that same rhythm somewhere else. All right. Now, I'm keeping my ideas simple because I want you to understand the concepts. I don't think it serves you for me just to wank and just show off. What I'd like to do is to show you how you can create a theme. And then you have continuity in your solo. Did you hear how I was playing one rhythm and then that rhythm becomes a theme? Here's an example. And then you can break the pattern. So that's a formula that is really a good one to use, is to have a consistent rhythmic idea that you repeat 2 or 3 times and then end your idea with something a little more flashy or just something different. Doesn't have to be flashy. This is so different than just noodling on and on. This means that you're actually composing as you're soloing. So we get into this in some of my videos here on YouTube and, of course, the bonus content on Patreon. Check the links down below if you want to join. Now, Andre and anybody out there playing high G, this is a trick that is you could do a whole video just on this. But you pick a note on the high string, you pull off, and then you pick the open G string. And it's a triplet. So again, it's pick, pull off, pick. 3 notes, 2 picks, 2 strokes. You move to a new place. Move to a new place. Move to a new place. So the notes I'm using are the C at the 3rd fret, the E at the 7th fret, the D at the 5th fret, the B at the 2nd fret. So that is just a quick dipping our toes into the wide, vast ocean of high G string tricks. Okay, so yeah, don't ignore your G string. Use it, especially in the key of G or the key of C. And it's a really, really cool thing. And I do this with harmony notes too. Just go slow, because the technique of pulling off can sometimes make some cramping happen in the arm. Any more questions, friends, before we bow out? I want to make sure that everything has been clear and that you get some benefit from this. Be sure to check the links down below, because there is a video down there of me jamming on the beach some years ago. It was my birthday, and this fantastic Mexican guitarist, we sat for like about 45 minutes, played a whole bunch of tunes, and then we finally pressed record. And just as we pressed record, this very, very jolly but very intoxicated man came over. And he kind of crashed. It's great. You got to see it. It was a lot of fun. So a fun moment that I'm glad was captured on video, and there's a link to it in the description down below. Mexico workshop. I would love to do that. I hope to offer the Ukulele Zen retreat in another land someday, maybe someplace tropical. We shall see. So let's just recap for those of you who are faithfully watching all the way to the end. We went through this strum, okay? These days I know it's easy to have like information overload, so many different lessons, so many different songs we want to learn. But there's deep value in just going into one thing. Dig one deep well and collect more rain. So just dig one deep well with this. Oops. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 4. Or just master that one strum. Okay. Next, we went into a couple of tricks you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And suddenly you got a drummer in your band. You just move that hand a little bit that way, smacking the strings against the fret on beats 2 and 4. We also took a look at the riffs. Okay, the first one in the open position. And then the other one in the upper position, which is asking you to visit the upper frets, but do it in a way where we're not pushing any harder. All right, if you hang with these 2 riffs, you can have fantastic vocabulary and great melodic introductions for your jams of La Bamba. If you play with other ukulele players in your town, please share this video with them. The song sheets are down below. They're totally free and available for you. If you enjoy what you experience here at my channel, hope you'll please click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to click subscribe, and click that like button to help YouTube spread my content. And if you would like to receive other monthly benefits, there are links down below to the Patreon community. I have so much more to share with you for the rest of this year, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Thank you so much for helping me get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm so grateful to you all. And thank you for spending a little bit of extra time with me. Hope that your music making is fun, relaxing, and brings you much happiness. So, wishing you and your families all the best. I'm going to bow out now because we are at 1 hour and 2 minutes. So, happy jamming, everybody. Watch this video again to learn more and to practice. Thanks very much. Wishing you and your families many, many blessings. Good health until we meet again.